If you've been working harder every year but feel more broke, you're not lazy, you're not bad with money, and you're definitely not imagining it. Seriously speaking, this is a question many people wonder about. Why does hustle feel like a treadmill now? Why does your income go up but your stress goes up faster? I've mentioned this before and I'll say it again. In 2026, effort and results are no longer directly connected for most renters. That sounds wrong, right? But the reality is the math changed. You can work overtime, pick up side gigs, skip vacations, meal prep every Sunday, and still feel stuck. Meanwhile, rent renews higher, groceries jump again, insurance quietly climbs, and a starter home drifts further away like a moving target. This is crazy. You're sprinting harder, but the finish line keeps getting pulled back. So if working harder isn't fixing it, what actually does? Stay with me because this will completely change how you think about money, effort, and homeownership. And yes, we're getting specific. No vague, just budget better advice. Real numbers, real strategy, real next moves. Let's start with the hidden trap almost nobody explains. Most people are trying to solve a system problem with heroic effort. You're trying to outwork rising housing costs. And because of that, your energy becomes the budget. That's dangerous. Here's the issue. Your paycheck is linear. Housing costs are not. If your salary rises 3% and rent rises 8%, you didn't get ahead. You fell behind with a nicer title. Did you know that many renters got raises and still lost buying power in the same year? That's not a character flaw. That's arithmetic. But here's what most people completely miss. The type of income matters more than the amount. If all your money comes from trading hours for dollars, your ceiling arrives fast. There are only 24 hours, and your job already rents most of them. So what actually makes the difference? It comes down to the difference between active income and leveraged income. Active income means you work, then you get paid. Stop working, money pauses. Leveraged income means your past effort keeps paying later. That could be skills that command higher rates, assets, systems, or ownership. Now, I'm not saying quit your job and become a crypto monk in Bali. Please don't do that because of a Tuesday mood swing. I'm saying play both games at once. What I kept coming back to through all of that was one brutal truth. Working harder inside a broken cost structure keeps you exhausted, not wealthy. Let's make this super practical. Why does hard work keep smart people broke? Usually because of 5 silent leaks. Leak number 1, fixed costs rise faster than your pay. Leak number 2, taxes hit overtime and extra shifts. Leak number 3, burnout reduces decision quality. Leak number 4, lifestyle creep eats raises quietly. Leak number 5, no asset building plan. If your money only flows through bills, then effort evaporates monthly. That's why 2 people with similar salaries can end up in totally different futures. One person works harder and stays fragile. The other person builds margin and optionality. Same grind, different design. And because of that, your financial architecture becomes everything. Not your motivation, not your morning routine, not your coffee brand with lion's mane mushrooms. Let's talk housing specifically because that's where this hits hardest. Rent is not just an expense, it's also a blocker when it consumes too much income. If rent takes 40% to 50% of take-home pay, saving a down payment becomes a second full-time job. Then people say, just save more. From what exactly? Air? As I've said, you can't budget your way out of a structural mismatch forever. At some point, you must change one of 3 things. Increase income quality, reduce housing ratio, build ownership exposure. Not only that, you need a timeline because vague goals create expensive years. So here's a simple framework I want you to steal today. I call it the B.R.O.K.E loop. B. Bills expand. Without guardrails, fixed costs absorb every raise. R. Recovery spending. You overwork, then spend to feel human again. Totally normal, still expensive. O. Opportunity cost. No time to learn higher value skills or negotiate better pay. K. Knowledge gap. You miss programs, credits, grants, and buyer tools. E. Equity delay. Every year out of ownership can raise the entry price later. Want to know the best part? You can break this loop without becoming a finance robot. But here's what most people completely miss. The first win is not buying a house. The first win is creating financial breathing room. Why is that? Because pressure causes bad decisions. Bad decisions cost years. So next, let's map what to do in order. If you're feeling behind, follow this sequence. Step number 1, cap your core burn rate. Set a hard percentage for housing. If your rent is crushing you, explore roommates, relocation zones, or lease renegotiation timing. Temporary discomfort can create permanent leverage. Target, keep total housing near or below 30% to 35% of take-home if possible. If that's impossible now, create a 12-month plan to move toward it. Step number 2, upgrade income quality, not just hours. You might be wondering, what does that mean in real life? It means increasing your hourly value. Examples: negotiate salary with documented market comps. Switch employers when internal growth is capped. Stack one monetizable skill tied to revenue. Move from task roles into decision roles. If you can raise your rate by 20%, then every hour works harder for you. That beats adding 20% more hours forever. Step number 3, build your down payment engine. Don't save what's left. There is never anything left. Automate first, then spend. Emergency fund, down payment, closing costs, move-in buffer. Even small automatic transfers create momentum and reduce decision fatigue. Step number 4, use first-time buyer tools aggressively. This is why knowledge matters. Many people assume they need 20% down. Often they don't. Depending on your situation, you may access low down payment loan options, down payment assistance programs, local grants or forgivable loans, seller concessions or rate buy-downs. The reality is, people stay renters longer simply because nobody explained the map clearly. You don't need luck, you need signal. Step 5, decide your buy box early. Not your dream home, your first strategic home. Choose your target by numbers, not vibes. Monthly payment comfort zone, commute tolerance, property type flexibility, rehab tolerance, exit potential in 5 to 7 years. If you define this now, then market changes won't emotionally hijack you. And because of that, timing becomes less about prediction and more about preparation. That's a massive shift. Now, let's hit the mindset piece nobody likes hearing. Hard work is still valuable. It's just not sufficient by itself anymore. Think of hard work like gasoline. If your car alignment is broken, more gas won't fix direction. You'll just burn fuel faster and drift into a ditch. So yes, keep your work ethic, but pair it with design, pair it with leverage, pair it with boundaries. Even worse, if you glorify overwork, then you normalize financial chaos. You start thinking exhaustion equals progress. It does not. It often means your strategy is underpowered. Seriously speaking, hustle is a tool, not an identity. You are not a productivity app with trauma responses. You're a person building a life. And because of that, let's ground this in a quick example. Say you earn $82,000. Rent and utilities are $2,350 monthly. Student loans and car costs are $850. Other essentials are $1,100. You're left with little margin. So you pick up weekend work for $700 monthly after taxes. Sounds great, right? But burnout leads to convenience spending and slower career growth. Net progress becomes tiny. Now compare that with a redesign. You lower housing by $400 through a planned move. You negotiate a $9,000 raise by switching roles. You automate $650 monthly into buyer buckets. You cut one high-friction debt payment through refinance or payoff sequencing. Suddenly, you're not heroic, you're strategic, and strategic compounds. That's why the message is not work less, it's stop donating effort to systems that don't return enough. What I kept coming back to through all of that was this. The goal is not to prove how hard you can struggle. The goal is to create ownership, stability, and options. Remember that your first property doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be possible. And if you treat the next 18 months like a build phase, your future self will thank you aggressively. So what's the bottom line? If you keep doing more of what isn't working, you stay tired and stuck. If you redesign the game, your effort finally starts paying rent to your future. If this hit you in the chest a little, good. That means you're awake now. Drop a comment with one word "B.R.O.K.E loop if you want me to make a step-by-step 12-month plan next. I'll build it for renters starting from scratch. No rich parents, no fantasy math. And tell me your biggest blocker right now: income, rent, debt, credit, or down payment. I read these comments and shape videos around your real situation. Subscribe if you're done with recycled advice from 1987. On this channel, we vent first, then we fix it. Working harder can keep you broke. Working designed gets you free.